A long, long time ago, there was a small village in the vast steppes of Russia. Horse rearing was one of the livelihoods of the inhabitants of that village. Every year in the month of October a huge cattle market is held in Sadar town. Once upon a time, two brothers, one rich and one poor, went to that market together. The rich brother went on a horse, and his poor brother went on the back of a young kite. In the evening they stopped by an empty hut and tied their horses outside the house before going to sleep on two haystacks. Next morning they were surprised to see 3 horses instead of 2. Oh, well, the newcomer is not a big horse. That is the baby of that kite. The kite gave birth to him at night. In no time he was able to stand on his own 2 feet, and once fed on his mother's milk, he walked the first few steps of his life with a limp. The male horse greeted him with a cry of joy. When the 2 brothers first see the baby kite, it is standing next to the horse. "It's mine." As soon as he saw the child, Dmitri the elder said, "This is my horse's foal." Hearing this, poor Ivan began to laugh. "Who ever heard of a baby horse? This is my kite's baby." No, lies. He was standing near the horse, so he was the horse's child. And so, "It's mine." The 2 brothers started quarreling. They decided that they would go to town. There the judges will ask the whole matter for trial. As they argued, they walked towards the large square where the courthouse was. But what they didn't know was that it was a special day. Once a year on that day the emperor himself judged. He personally welcomed all those who came to him for justice. When the 2 brothers were brought before him they told him all about the commotion. Needless to say, the emperor knew very well who the real owner of the baby kite was. Just as he was about to pass judgment on poor Ivan, Ivan's eyes suddenly danced. Seeing this behavior of an insignificant farmer, the emperor was very angry. He immediately decided to punish Ivan for this defiance. After listening to both sides of the story, he said, "Look, it's hard, if not impossible, to tell who the child really is." The emperor was entertaining. So he sometimes asked his counselors to find out his answers by calling them various riddles. He shouted for a bit of fun, "It's hard to say which of you should get this baby. So I give you 4 riddles. The one among you who can answer these 4 riddles correctly will get this baby. A. What is the fastest in this world? B. What is the fattest in this world? C. What is the softest in this world? And D. What is the most expensive in this world?" I order you to return to the palace with answers to these 4 questions within a week. As soon as he left the courtroom, Dmitri began to try to solve the riddle. When he reached home, he realized that there was no one to help him. His wife is not so smart. "Let's see, I'll have to ask for help, because if I can't figure out the answers to these riddles, I won't have the baby." Thinking this, he remembered a neighbor woman to whom he had lent a silver coin. It's been quite a while since he didn't know either. That 1 silver coin with interest is now worth 3. And since he has a reputation for being vindictive, but also quite clever, Dmitri decides to take his advice, in exchange for a portion of his debt being forgiven. But the woman was not at all slow to show the extent of her intelligence. He immediately demanded that his entire debt be forgiven in exchange for those answers. "The fastest thing in the world is my husband's red-brown horse," she said. "No one can beat him. Our pig is the fattest. No one had ever seen a beast like him. The mattress I made for our bed with my own swan feathers is the softest. All my friends are jealous of it. And the most precious thing in this world is my 3-month-old nephew. There is no more beautiful child than her. I cannot give him all the gold in the world. And that is why it is the most precious thing in this world. Dimitri was puzzled by the woman's answers. Meanwhile, he has to appear before the emperor with some answer. He felt that he would be punished if he could not take these answers. His thinking was right. Meanwhile, Ivan the Terrible went back to his little hut where he lived with his baby girl. The 7-year-old girl was often alone, and as a result she became thoughtful and quite clever for her age. The poor brother, like his grandfather, realized that he could not figure out the answers to the riddles on his own. So he trusted the little girl. After sitting in silence for a while, the little girl said to him loudly, "Tell the emperor, the fastest in this world is the cold winter wind. The fattest is the soil of our land whose crops give life to both man and beast. The softest is a child's touch and the most precious is honesty." Finally the day came for the two brothers to appear before the emperor. They were brought before him. The emperor sat anxiously to hear what they had to say. But he burst out laughing at Dimitri's stupid answers. Anyway, when it was Ivan's turn to speak, the emperor's brow furrowed. He shuddered at the poor brother's intelligent answers, especially the last one about honesty. The emperor knew very well that he had treated the poor brother unfairly, because he had not given him justice. But he could not admit it in front of his counselors, and so he said angrily, "Who gave you these answers?" Ivan then informed the emperor that his baby girl had given these answers. Even that did not anger the emperor. He said, "You will be rewarded for being such an intelligent and clever girl. You will be rewarded with the baby kite that your brother claimed, along with 100 silver coins." But, as he spoke, the emperor looked at the counselors and pressed his eyes. "In 7 days you will come to me with your daughter. But since he is very wise, he cannot come before me naked, nor clothed, nor walk, nor ride a horse, nor come with any gift for me, nor come empty-handed. If he can fulfill this condition, then you will get your reward. If not, you'll have your neck taken for treason." All those who were onlookers began to laugh, thinking that the poor brother would never be able to fulfill the emperor's conditions. Ivan returned home dejected, his eyes welling up with tears. But when she told her daughter the whole thing, her daughter calmly said, "Tomorrow will bring a large rabbit and a pheasant. I want to live both. You get your foal and 100 silver coins. Leave it to me." Ivan did as the girl said. He had no idea why those two animals were needed. But he had faith in his daughter's intelligence. On certain days the palace was filled with visitors in the presence of the emperor. Everyone eagerly waited for Ivan and his baby girl. Finally, the baby girl appeared, her whole body wrapped in fishing nets. He came on the back of a rabbit, a pheasant in hand. He was neither naked, nor clothed, nor did he come on foot, nor on horseback. The king of Ragemag said to him, "I said that you cannot come with gifts and you cannot come empty-handed." Hearing this, the little girl took out the pheasant bird. The emperor reached out to catch it, but the bird flapped its wings and flew away into nothingness. The third condition is also fulfilled. The little girl passed such a test so intelligently that the emperor could not help praising her in his own words. He said in a soft, gentle voice, "Is your father really so poor that he desperately wants the foal? "Oh, yes yes. We are really very poor," replied the little girl. "We live by eating the rabbits that father catches from the river and the fish from the tree." "Ah! The emperor had one. That means you're not as clever as you think you are. Who ever heard of rabbits in water and fish in trees?" In response to this, the little girl quickly said, "And who ever heard of horses having babies?" Hearing this, the emperor and everyone in the royal house burst into laughter. Immediately Ivan was given 100 silver coins and a foal. Meanwhile, the emperor himself did not want to miss this opportunity to pat himself on the back. He proudly announced, "Only in my kingdom can such an intelligent girl be born."